Inflation was up last month and the same month last year. These latest numbers from Statistics Canada shows the Consumer Price Index rose 1.9%, up from a 1.7% increase in May.
As inflation continues to climb, many Canadians who are nearing retirement are feeling financial pressure with rising costs and debt colliding, leading this cohort to delay retirement or even return to work. So joining us live now to discuss how inflation is reshaping the retirement timeline is Ben McCabe, CEO of Bloom Finance. Ben, thanks so much for joining us. Let's just talk about, I guess, the mental strain that this is taking on people who thought they would retire, but now they're in this kind of reversal period of when they can actually do that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a problem facing so many Canadian seniors these days. We did a survey recently with Angus Reid. 46% of Canadian seniors saying that they're either actively thinking about or have already started the process of going back to work to help manage these cost of living challenges.
Ben, this has been an enormously inflationary period, not just over the last year, but I mean really the last several years, ever since the pandemic, et cetera. How is the inflation really having an impact then on the sort of horizons and retirement plans of people in that sort of 60, 65 age range?
I can't tell you how many people that we talk to in that age range at Bloom who tell us that, look, I had a great retirement plan, I had it figured out, the math worked, and then 2022 came along. And the fact is that, yes, inflation is 1.9% today, but the reality is that the cost of a basket of groceries is 20% higher than it was in 2021, right? And for those people who are at that retirement age, they likely don't have 20% more savings, or certainly don't have 20% more income than they did 4 years ago. So it's creating real challenges.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my mother is one of these people who wishes to retire but has to continue working because her mortgage was up and it was just too much, the interest rate. So what does this mean for retirees in terms of their options? Are they turning to home equity? And where does that put them?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's one of the positive things. There are options out there, right? I mean, I think the reality is that 3/4 of Canadian seniors own their homes. 62% of Canadians are thinking about their home equity as part of their retirement strategy. Canadian seniors have $2 trillion built up in home equity because they probably bought those homes 30, 40 years ago. And for most, that is actually the largest asset that they have. So luckily, there are solutions out there to tap into home equity sustainably and responsibly to help navigate these challenges, whether that's by downsizing, whether that's by selling or renting, if that's what you want, if you're prepared to leave your home. And then if you want to stay in your home, there are solutions for that as well, like the reverse mortgage. And at Bloom, we have our home equity MasterCard. But there are solutions out there tapping into that large store of wealth.
And Ben, just sort of moving away from the sort of retirement planning here, but if you have more seniors or older people that continue to work, that has an impact all the way through the job market, because then, the next generation can't come through, the younger generation can't come in. This has an overall impact just on our economy, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And I think one of the interesting statistics that we've seen as well is that 1/3 of Canadian seniors are actually supporting their younger loved ones, their children or their grandchildren, for exactly that reason. I think that in 2025, so many Canadians of all ages are having trouble either maintaining or establishing financial security. And so for older folks, they're actually feeling the pressure on both ends. They're feeling the pressure for themselves, and they're feeling the pressure to support their younger loved ones who are struggling to establish their own financial security.
Yeah, it's a real domino effect. So can you go into detail more about how a reverse mortgage, can help seniors in this bracket?
Yeah, and so, a reverse mortgage isn't for everybody, but for those who are, house rich but are struggling on the cash side, which so many Canadian seniors are, the way a reverse mortgage works is it allows you to sort of tap into that equity in your home, kind of like a regular mortgage. But the main difference is that it doesn't have a payment attached to it. So if you're making $3,000 a month from your pension income, you don't need to send $1,000 of that to the bank to service interest. Instead, interest is sort of added to the balance, and you don't need to pay back until you pass away or choose to sell your home at some point in the future. So it can be a really, really helpful solution for people who have a lot of wealth built up in their home, but are struggling to make ends meet on a month-to-month basis.
Certainly interesting times we're living in. Ben McCabe is the CEO of Bloom Finance. Appreciate this conversation this morning, Ben. Thank you.
Thank you.